I have a question pertaining to DNA, part of our discussion in regards to having more access to information. Is this broken down in regards to blood types amongst us? Yes, it is. See, knowledge, because when you say information, information is actually limited, because when you look at the word in, as I was saying at the beginning, it's like you're inside something. So there's a limit or a ceiling. You're inside information. You're insane. You're, I'm trying to think of more words with the word in. But when you come out, you go to out formation, because if you're limited to the planet and you think everything is within or inside this planet, then you don't have the open mind to think of things outside of the planet. Hence the whole extraterrestrial thing. So we receive out formation, which becomes information when it's inside us or in our head, right? Because we have our own hard drive that we store and process information that we're receiving. And so out formation teaches us that there is more. Like, how do we get our blood types? This is what I was saying about that whole story of triplets, where people have different DNA, people have different complexions, different hair textures, different blood types, and the blood types relate to where you come from or who you're made up from. So this is why I say a lot of the extraterrestrial beings, they related by blood, and they have the RH negative, blood type. And because of the mixtures now throughout the world with the different races, the root races mixing up and creating what we call sub races and hybrids, now people have different blood types. And it's important to know when we say your anatomy, in terms of your entire, like your brain, your liver, your lungs, your heart, your blood, your, just everything about your being you're supposed to master and learn. And this is where some people, they don't take that time to check out the compatibility between two people in terms of, say, blood types. And people have an offspring, and that being will suffer from sickle cell, for example, if they didn't take the time to check their blood types. So yes, the question of, it's all about the blood, and the blood is why even in the scriptures there's a lot of mentioning about blood. The book of Numbers, for example, in the Bible is just about keeping records of who belongs to who and who begot who, and that bloodline. So you can actually trace the bloodline of the Adamites, because it tells you from Adam all the way. We've done it, it's in our scrolls. And so the extraterrestrials that wanted Pacific bloods, they would tell you to sacrifice and to spread blood and sprinkle blood over the altars, and they get excited by the blood because the life is in the blood. And when people are unalived in a particular way, the adrenaline and everything causes that blood to behave or be in a certain state, and they find that they like that as a source of food. So this is the whole food for the gods doctrine. So yeah, people in prominent positions, royal families, etc., they like to keep their bloodline pure. But of course, our bloodline being the best, the first, because this is why people mix with us, because some people didn't have the ability to keloid, all right? And if they cut themselves, for example, they will bleed to death. And so blood was a major factor in what people call the slave trade, which we know was a kidnapping. And it goes into a lot in terms of, the slavery and what it was for. And, there's like the War of Roses, for example, if you study that, going into the Yorks and the Lancasters when they were fighting, because it ties into this being hemophiliacs who you know, they needed certain blood to survive. This goes into a lot to do with what we call the zombies and the zombie apocalypse, and what we call Dracula, and these beings that they subsist off of the blood, particular types of blood, you see. So it's a big range of things relating to your question about blood. But yes, the blood types are very important.